Hi everybody, my name is Jim and I am very excited because today we're going to do a full review of the Kodiak Solar Generator by Inergy with an I. They were nice enough to send me one of these generators on loan so I could do the review, show all the features to all of you, and I have to say that after I've been using it, I don't think they're getting it back. I'm probably going to have to buy this thing. But the thing that really caught my attention online was the 30 amp plug on the front for RVs. And so immediately I thought this might be something very interesting to all of our RV subscribers and users. So after checking it out, I'll tell you kind of what this basically is. By plugging that 30 amp power plug into your RV, you're attaching a 90 amp hour lithium ion battery. That's a lot of power. And you're also adding a 1500 watt pure sine wave inverter with up to 3000 watts of peak performance for surges and stuff like that. That's awesome because those take forever to install. And then you also can attach up to 600 watts of solar to this thing so that it charges in a matter of 2 or 3 hours. Or if you have 150 watts, it'll charge in 8 hours, just a day. So it has solar. And then you also can attach lead acid or AGM batteries to it, as many as you want. So you could connect this to your battery bank, or you can add extra batteries to it if you're trying to use this as an off-grid solar system, because that's exactly what it is. It's a complete off-grid solar system in a 20-pound box. This thing only weighs 20 pounds. I cannot wrap my mind around how much stuff they managed to fit inside this 20-pound box. It's completely lightweight and portable, and I can lift it up straight-armed. It comes with a shoulder strap, so I could take it on a hike, and it wouldn't bother me that much. That's really, really cool. A lot of features that are packed into this guy. And so in this video, we're going to be going over all the features, what you can do with it, some of the charge times, how you can connect it, and all that good stuff. And I'm going to be putting it to the test, hooking it up to fifth wheels, and lots of appliances and microwaves and all kinds of fun stuff. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I am going to tell you how you can probably save 20% on this guy. So that was very nice of them to do, and I'll talk to you all about that at the end of the video if you're interested at all. It'll save you hundreds of dollars on this unit. So without further ado, we're going to get into the unit itself and some of the features and all the good stuff that comes with it right now. First, let's talk about the power plant inside this guy. The battery that this has is a lithium-ion battery. The type that it has is a lithium nickel manganese cobalt oxide battery, which is NMC, for all of you tech guys that wanted to know. And this is a 90 amp hour lithium-ion battery. It's going to last up to 2,000 charge cycles, and maybe even more if you're not doing full discharges. It'll even go past that, which is incredible because lead acid batteries only really have 500 cycles. So this is going to last you a very, very long time, up to 2,000 charge cycles or maybe even more. It has a 10-year shelf life. So it's going to be good to go even if you're storing it for 10 years, as long as you charge it every 3 months or so and keep it balanced. It does have an integrated charge balancer and controller built in, and overcharge and balancing protection. The general dimensions on this guy is going to be 9 inches tall, 14 inches wide, and 9 inches deep. It's a very small, manageable little kit. And the weight of it is only 20 pounds, which is crazy. I can't believe they fit all this stuff into 20 pounds. Now, starting with the output ports that are going to come on the front of this guy, things that you can plug into, it's going to have 6 110 volt AC plugs, 1,000 watt continuous per plug, 3,000 watt starting surge maximum for those plugs, 10 amp maximum for each AC plug, and it has a 1,500 watt total limit for combined AC and DC output. You're also going to have one 30 amp RV plug, 125 volt, and you're going to have 2 12 volt DC universal car sockets, which are your basic cigarette lighter type sockets with a 15 amp maximum per socket, which is great. You also have 4 USB outlets that are 5 volts DC. It has one 2.1 amp port and one 1 amp port. And you're also going to have 15 watt maximum per adapter. You have 2 light ports that are 12 volt DC. And they are 2.5 millimeter connectors and with a 50 watt maximum output per port. And those are used for the base camp LEDs that come with this unit. You can connect and chain up to 10 of these base camp LED lights chained together. Now let's talk about some of the charging ports that are on this guy. You have AC, solar, and car through port A right here. I'm going to put a little arrow up there. And you can use up to 270 watts or 10 amps maximum worth of charging into that port. and that's going to be your low voltage connection right there. Right next to that, you're going to have the second charging port, which is going to be labeled B, and this is your high current charging port for solar, wind, or anything like that, up to 32 volts DC at 40 amps with 600 watts maximum. That's very, very cool. You're also going to have an external battery bank connection, which is going to be C, and this is where you would connect additional lead acid or AGM batteries to extend the power range and storage capacity of this unit, and it will charge those batteries and use power from those batteries, which is incredibly cool, you guys. You can actually, it doesn't really specify how many you can hook up, it kind of just says unlimited, but you could use 12-volt batteries in parallel, or you could use 6-volt batteries in series, or you could hook up a really big battery bank of 6 volts in series parallel. That's really, really neat that you can add that much storage capacity onto this guy and it's going to charge them and use the power. You're all set and ready to go. Then you're going to have I as your battery storage indicator, J is your handle or shoulder strap, and then K is going to be your power display, and L is your charge indicator. All right, now let's talk about reading the power display on this guy. And it has 4 unique readings. On the top left is your current in amps that are being consumed by anything plugged in. The top right is going to be your battery voltage. Fully charged is approximately 12.5 to 12.8 volts, and completely depleted is approximately 9.6 volts. And that's going to give you a good indication of where you're at right there. On the bottom right, you have watts being consumed by whatever you have plugged in. And on the bottom left, which probably won't come into play too much, you're going to have the accumulated power readings of different metrics for advanced users. Under most circumstances, these specifications are redundant, and you're really not going to be worrying about those. But the top 3, now you at least know what those do, and you're going to be good to go. As for the battery storage indicator, to view the current battery storage level, you just have to turn on the Kodiak by pressing the power button, and there are 10 multicolored LEDs. Each one represents approximately 10% of the battery capacity. So when it's all the way full, you're going to have a blue light there, and when it's all the way depleted, you're going to be getting into the red. Now this Kodiak solar generator can run pretty much anything you can imagine, from blenders or coffee pots to mixers and dicers, anything in the kitchen like that. To give you a little rundown of what they say it can run, to give you a pretty good indication of how long that 90 amp hours is really going to get you. They do have a little list that has some appliances and how many times you can charge them and how long they will run. For example, you can charge a smartphone 150 times, a tablet 30 times, a laptop 20 times, a 40-inch LED TV for 25 hours, an electric blanket for 14 hours, base camp LED lights, which are very bright and well built, 180 hours. So you'd have plenty of light. A CPAP machine for 20 hours, a 7.1 cubic foot freezer for 48 hours, and a 16.5 cubic foot refrigerator like you have at home for 30 hours. And a 1,000 watt microwave for 1 hour. So that's really, really impressive to have all those things, but I really wanted to see if it was going to perform in real world tests. So we're going to take it out and just see if it has enough juice to operate some of the stuff around the house, including a 5th wheel. So I'm going to jump out there and kind of see if we can just plug that in and see what kind of results we get. So without further ado, we're going to jump out into the field and do some testing. Hi everybody, my name is Jim, and today we're really going to be putting this Kodiak solar generator to the test to see if it'll power up this Cardinal Explorer 5th wheel. So we're going to hook it up to the plug in the back for the power supply and see if it can put in the slides, run the microwave, and some other stuff like that. So let's really see what this little guy can do. Okay, so we have our solar generator in the back here and we are hooked up. This RV has a 50 amp service, but we do have it reduced down with an adapter so that we have a 30 amp plug on it. We're going to plug that guy in nice and secure. And then we're going to turn on the unit. Now I'll zoom into the display so you guys can actually see what kind of power we're using when I put in the slides and try and use the microwave and things like that. Now that we're inside, let's see if we can handle this monstrous residential style fridge right here. I definitely just heard it kick on. So we will let that run, and now we will go around and turn on every single light in here. Let's turn on this TV, why not? There we go, that's on. And lastly, all the interior lights in here. And let's turn on this TV as well. So as you notice, all of the wall plugs work for AC, just like if you had an inverter built in, which is amazing. Everybody can use any single AC outlet in this entire RV to plug in phones and tablets, you name it. And we have the stereo on. There we go. I'm going to keep the volume down though, so it's not on screen here. And let's see if the old refrigerator is still working here. It is on. Working off of plugged in power off of our Kodiak generator. So this entire RV is being lit up. Both the TVs, the stereo, and the giant residential style refrigerator, all running off that Kodiak generator. And now, well, let's see, we could even do our vent. Could open that guy. Turn on a little fan. Now our fan up top is running as well. So that's pretty impressive. Now let's turn all this stuff off and see if we can run that giant microwave, which I think is going to be way too much for it. That's well over a 2,000 watt microwave, so maybe we'll try it on low power and see if we can get that to work. Because it'll work for a 1,000 watt microwave, but that guy is a monster. I have no idea how many watts that is, but it's huge. So let's turn everything off and try the microwave. Okay, so I actually shot footage of me turning the microwave on, and I had another camera running out by the generator that had the display. But I shot that a week ago and something happened to the footage. It was corrupted. So I'll put a picture up of the microwave. It's a 2,000 watt Magic Chef microwave, and you can still watch the display when I turn it on. Now you can tell this is a 2,000 watt microwave because when I turn it on, you can see this guy shoot up to about 1,946 watts. So I think I was pretty dead on when I said this is probably a 2,000 watt microwave. So this really isn't designed to run this microwave. It wouldn't last you very long, maybe on the lowest power setting or something, but you know, it's really designed for like a 1,000 watt microwave or lower. But I thought it was really impressive that it was able to kick it on and maintain it for, I think I only did it for about 20 seconds because I didn't want to damage the microwave with nothing inside. But it did it, is the point. So the surge rating is definitely holding true, and that's why I wanted to show you it running this size microwave, even though this isn't the size microwave that it's intended to run. I was just kind of pushing it hard. So that being said, we're going to jump out to another one, and I'll show you another microwave that I do have footage of. So let's jump out there right now. So this is the solar panel that I requested. You can get the portable ones. This one's actually for more of a permanent mount situation for an RV application. But you could also get the portables. This is manufactured by Solarland. It's 100 watts. It's a polycrystalline panel. Really good build quality. I like the metal. And this glass is really tough. I had one of these on top of my RV when we had a really bad hailstorm here in Colorado. It destroyed the whole neighborhood, and I thought for sure my panel was destroyed, but it actually made it through, and it's the same kind of build quality here. So this is 100 watt and fairly lightweight there. Has some weight to it for sure, not as lightweight as their portable panels, but I'm going to be able to secure this pretty much anywhere I want and plug that right into the Kodiak. So let's get over there and hook this up. So let's say we just bought a travel trailer, we're here in front of this launch. How easy is it to hook up solar panels, a 1,500 watt inverter, and add 90 amp hours of lithium ion power to this guy? Let's find out. So as you can see now, we have lights throughout the entire unit. Everything is nice and plugged in. Absolutely everything in here is going to work, from DC appliances to AC appliances. Let's go ahead and check out the microwave. Okay, so here we have our microwave all hooked up. This is a high point, and we're going to go ahead and just, we'll just say we're cooking a potato. And there she goes. Now, I don't have anything in there, so I don't want to burn up that microwave, but it definitely works. Sounded good. The radio, the lights, everything in here is going to be working now. And if you have batteries installed, there is an converter that comes with almost every single travel trailer fifth wheel RV, and that's going to be activated too. And now it's charging your house batteries. So when nightfall comes and you're out of solar or anything like that, or the end of the weekend, you're still going to have a full amount of energy in your house batteries. Okay, now we're really going to put this guy to the test here. We've got this big wet dry vac here. This is a 12 amp, 6.5 horsepower wet dry vac. So at 12 amps there, if you take 12 amps and times it by 120 volts, you're going to get 1,440 watts. So around 1,500 watts is what this is going to put out. And this is supposed to have a 1,500 watt pure sine wave inverter in it. So that's going to be a really good test to see if this guy's going to do it. So what we're going to do is go ahead and plug in here. And I left it on, but there you go. And we can see on our wattage meter, we're pulling about 1,440 watts. So the math definitely checks out for us. So now we're really going to try and put this Kodiak to the test. I have it plugged into all kinds of stuff here. And I do want to stress that I'm going to have you listen to what everything sounds like when I click this guy on before I turn on all the noisy appliances. The noise it makes is pretty much inaudible. So I'm going to go ahead and power this guy on. And I can actually still hear the birds more than I can hear the generator running. So that's really, really impressive. The inverter is super duper quiet. And you can see the TV's powering on here. I have a Chromecast hooked up to that, so it's going to go ahead and go to the home page there. The laptop is charging. The phone is charging. I have a lantern right here that's a solar lamp, but it was the battery's dead, so I've got that charging with the USB port here. And now I'm going to go ahead and plug in 2 Ryobi batteries, kick on the fans, and we're really going to put this guy to the test. Okay, so we can see the TV's on there. Pretty sure you'll be able to see that. And the laptop's on, the cell phone's on, I have my solar light charging. Now I'm going to plug in these 2 18-volt batteries to charge. I also have these LED lights turned on, and they are very, very bright. I'm trying to keep them away from the camera because they are just really bright. So those are going to really light up things for us. Then I'm going to turn on these 2 12-volt fans. We'll set them to oscillate so you can kind of tell that they're going. And so you can see it's running everything right now, and it's showing that we're only using about 200 and between 200 and 270 watts. Because the battery chargers are cycling, of course. But now we're really going to put this guy to the test, so all this stuff really isn't even touching it. And now I have this huge hammer drill right here that's 6.5 amps. And this old standard Black & Decker drill that's a 3 amp. So, I mean, we're really going to be pushing this thing with all this other stuff plugged in. So let's kind of do it gradually here because I do have my giant 60-inch flat screen TV hooked up to this. And we'll see how we do here. So it definitely ran both of those drills, and I think we just got up to about 1,000 watts there, which leaves us about another 500 to go before we reach the peak of that inverter. And so you can imagine all the stuff you can really run off of this while you're doing it completely silently, which is just incredible. Because the last thing that you want, if there ever were to be some kind of thing where you were off grid or you're really trying to use some power on the down low, then a generator is going to be the number one thing that everybody hears. And when you're RVing, it's just great to have quiet and you're listening to the birds instead of the sound of your generator. So whatever application you're going for, the fact that it's completely silent and weighs about 20 pounds is nuts that it can do all of this for us. And so I'm very, very impressed with it, and I'm going to take the camera off the tripod here just so I can kind of show you around a little bit at all the different things that are plugged into this guy. So here we have my solar lamp that has a lithium battery in it, and that's charging and turned on. You have my phone, which is acting as my camera screen right now. And you're also going to have the hammer drill that we ran, this old Black & Decker, and that's a 3 amp, and the hammer drill is a 6.5 amp. 60-inch flat screen TV, which is crazy. Then you have my very large laptop there. I believe it's a 17-inch display on that guy. It's pretty big. And then you have our 2 batteries right here from Ryobi that are charging, 2 oscillating 12-volt fans, and the LED lights that come with the generator, or I believe you can pick those up separately. I'm not exactly sure. But that's just a crazy amount of power to have running on this guy. And as you can see, I've just about got everything filled up here, but we do still have, just get my camera to readjust here. We do still have 2 more USB ports that we could utilize, and you have your 30 amp plug for the RV. All right, guys, now we're absolutely going to go for broke and just try and push this thing right over the top. I do not expect it to handle this or even get the wet dry vac going, because as we saw from our other test, it draws about 1,500 watts, around 1,440. So I'm a little nervous, but we're going to go ahead and try to kick this guy on and see if it's able to actually keep up with even more than it's supposed to. So I'm going to plug in this massive 12 amp wet dry vac here with everything else running. I'm not going to do the drills, so I'm going to plug one of those and we're going to go for this. It looks like we're pulling 1,700 watts. That's unbelievable. I can't believe it's running all of this. That is crazy. For 20 pounds, that's nuts. I'm going to go ahead and pull you off here so we can run around and check this out. I cannot believe this. Just unbelievable. That absolutely blows my mind. I really thought that was going to push her over the edge there. But I have no extension cords or anything running to this. It's completely running off this Kodiak Solar Generator, and that is impressive. Not going to lie. Pretty stoked about that. So that's it, guys. That's a crazy test, and I can't believe it was able to hang with 1,800 watts. And as you can see, the lithium battery, here's the level right here. All that's missing is the blue one, and that's probably from running, you know, that massive wet dry vac and all this other stuff, but it really has a lot of power. I've seen the same generators with lead acid batteries really take a hit after you draw that kind of power out of them, and everything didn't even flutter or blink. Nothing tried to shut off or start to flicker. So that's just absolutely incredible. So after playing around with this guy for 2 weeks, I have to say I think it's really a game changer for a lot of different applications. For the RV world, it's incredible that you can add 90 amps of lithium, 150 watt pure sine wave inverter, solar, and all that good stuff. And you can expand with extra lead acid or AGM batteries and plug that right into your RV and then just pick up and carry it away. That's amazing. And all of a sudden, all your outlets in your RV are working. You can run, appliances that are within its range. No air conditioners. You guys can never run air conditioners off these things. They're huge. But it runs everything else, and that's just so cool to me. All the outlets and everything are going to work just like you had a really expensive install done with an inverter hooked up to your battery bank. Now you just plug it in. And you can take it camping or with anywhere else you want to go. So it's so portable and lightweight. I just think that's incredible. And then when it comes to stuff like prepper survival situations, say there are power outages or any kind of chaotic stuff like that, this is completely silent, which applies for RVs too, because it's much better than having the generator running. But in situations like power outages or end of the world stuff, zombies, what have you, the last thing you want is a loud generator going off in your backyard where everybody can hear it. And this thing runs completely silently, which I just think is so very, very cool. And you can plug a large amount of solar into it. 600 watts is a very respectable amount of solar, and it'll charge this guy really, really fast. And you can also run your appliances off of it while it's being charged by the solar. And then at night, you have that 90 amp hour battery. So this really is an all-in-one kit, which I think is really, really cool. And the fact that it's portable is awesome. I've tried some other systems that are lead acid or AGM or what have you, and they weigh a ton. They just weigh a ton. They're 70 pounds or 100 pounds. And that's not portable, guys. I don't care if you have wheels or anything else on it. It's really hard. So I like that I can just lift this up or put it on the shoulder strap and you're out of there. That's really cool. For pack-up times and putting it in and out of the RV, it's so easy to move around. So that really is a game changer. And the fact that you're able to add lead acid batteries or AGM batteries, as many as you want from any different manufacturer, just any batteries you have. That's crazy. Everybody else, all the other solar generators say you have to use their battery and it's going to cost you more, and maybe you can hook up one if you're lucky with some of them. This one says as many as you want, go for it. That's really, really cool. So all those different features I just thought were incredibly impressive, and seeing what it ran and how well it ran it. I mean, the wet dry vac I thought was going to be a singular test, and then I tried it running everything else and it was still hanging in there just fine. So I think that's a pretty incredible amount of power to be able to do. And if you have solar coming in, you're going to have that much energy when nightfall comes. So that's really, really impressive. All right, I don't want to ramble on too much, but I did really, really like this guy. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you how you can save 20% on this guy. Inergy was nice enough to give me a link and a code word to give you guys 20% off, which saves you hundreds of dollars off this guy. So that was very nice of them to do. I will put a link in the description below, and when you click that link, it'll take you to their website, and you'll automatically have 20% off everything that you buy there, any package deal, any different variant of accessories or anything else. So that's awesome. And if you just want to call in and order it by the phone, just make sure you use the code word adventure while you're there, and that will apply 20% off to absolutely everything you buy there. So that was very nice of Inergy to do. Thank you so much, guys. And please like, share, subscribe. I also have more videos coming up of the Kodiak running air conditioners and doing refrigerators and washer dryers and really putting it to the test for a lot of things and doing the year in review, because I have been using this thing all year, like every single weekend and at home. So I have a lot more stuff to show you guys. But that wraps it up for this video. So please like, share, subscribe. My name is Jim with Full Moon Adventure Club, and thanks so much for watching, and happy camping.